Hello and welcome to Human Service Counseling 508, Studies in Interpersonal Communication. My name is Cassandra Campbell and I am a student at Liberty University, currently pursuing a master's degree in Human Service Counseling with a concentration in crisis and trauma response. I'm also a graduate of the University of Phoenix, where I obtained my Bachelor of Science degree in Human Service Management. I'm the mother of 3 beautiful children, 2 boys and 1 girl, and I am a minister of the gospel and a born-again believer in Jesus Christ. Today, I will be sharing with you a short yet informative 10-minute video lecture about interpersonal communication. Now, for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to provide some information that will help both you and I become more effective in our communication with God and with each other. Because there is so much information in this presentation, I'm going to be guiding you throughout the presentation as I go along on each slide. Some of the information I may not touch on each slide, but I will just touch on some key points and guide you along the way on our journey to becoming better communicators. Now, the title of this presentation is I Can Talk and Listen Better. So let's begin. Now, when we talk about interpersonal communication and improving, in that area in our interpersonal relationships, we first must ask some key questions. They are, what is interpersonal communication? What is effective communication? What type of communicator am I? As well as, what are the key features of a better talker and a better listener? Next slide. Now we need to define interpersonal communication. Now, anytime you engage in conversation with 2 or more persons or one, you and another person, you are engaging in an interpersonal dialogue. And to do this effectively, you must do what Stewart defines as maximizing the presence of the personal. This requires that you are aware of 5 qualities of the personal. That is uniqueness, unmeasurable, responsive, reflective, and addressable. Once again, uniqueness, unmeasurable, responsive, reflective, and unmeasurable. Slide 7. Now we know that interpersonal communication involves talking between you and I. It involves talking and listening with each other. So we need to know how to listen better. Now, listening involves more than just hearing. It's more than just, hearing what someone says. It is active rather than passive. Effective listening means that you're inhaling the information, inhaling or receiving the information. You acknowledge the talker, and you're providing just enough input to encourage and enlarge the conversation. Next slide. Now, talking better means that you're making a connection with the listener. You must make sure your message is received by the listener and understood by the listener. You need to know what to say and learn your listener. Slide 9. To be effective in interpersonal communication, you need to know what type of communicator you are. What type of communicator am I? Slide 10. Carbonell developed a 4-temperate model of human behavior. It's called DISC. D-I-S-C. Now, this model provides an understanding of personality types and behavioral blends. I recently took a personality assessment called Uniquely You. And in it, it revealed that my behavioral blend is dominant, competent, and then competent steady doer. That is DCCSD. The results reveal that I am more task oriented than I am people oriented. And this helped me to understand, the area that I need to work on with regards to improving communications in my interpersonal relationships. Slide 11. All communication, whether it's verbal or nonverbal, involves defining selves. Now, what I mean by this is that who you are it's a result of social expectations that have been avowed upon you by yourself or ascribed upon you by others. Furthermore, your identity or yourself, it's jointly constructed. That is, it's co-constructed by both the talker and the listener, by both you and I. Co-constructed. Slide 13. All communication is threatened by barriers. And there are several that are listed on our lecture notes for you. Deception, betrayal, verbal aggression, and violence. But I'm just going to focus on betrayal for a moment. Now, betrayal is so much similar to deception. I mean, betrayal involves deception, and they're just very closely related. However, betrayal goes a step further. Betrayal means that the person is violated. Whoever is doing the betraying is violating the other person's expectations. And once again, this is a joint construction, meaning it is co-constructed by the individuals engaged in the conversation. Both the talker and the listener are a part of this, the construction of betrayal. Now, as the saying goes, it takes two to tango. So it takes two persons interacting in conversation to construct even these barriers, such as betrayal. Now I want to interject something here for a moment. Now, I believe that the message of the cross is one of the most important examples of communication barriers and walls, of breaking down those communication barriers and walls. Ephesians 2:14 talks about Jesus breaking down the middle wall of partition and removing that barrier of sin, so that we're no longer disconnected from him in our communications with him and with others. We can effectively communicate with God and with others because he's broken down that middle wall partition. Slide 15. Now, whenever we are confronting communication barriers and walls in our relationships, it's going to be threatened. There are going to be some challenges. And one of those challenges is noise pollution. Now, noise pollution is defined by Gonzalez as anything that interferes with the health and comfort of people. And it also causes an imbalance in your environment, in your area, in your atmosphere. So we want to get rid of the noise. Now, all noise is classified in two categories. That's internal or external. So an example of internal noise is fear. And an example of external noise would be something like your appearance or a physical barrier. Slide 16. Now we want to provide some solutions to these barriers and to reducing the noise and getting rid of the noise in our lives so that we can, have healthier lives and healthier relationships and holy relationships. Now, some of these solutions for getting rid of the noise and breaking down the walls and the barriers I've listed in our lecture. They are: separate external reality from experience. That is, know what was before you and know what is before you right now. Observation. You need to become skilled at reading and listening to nonverbal cues, such as shrugging shoulders, such as fidgetiness, quivering lips, when someone has tense facial muscles. These are all nonverbal cues that give us, provide us with an understanding and of what, what's going on. And better quality information. Have better quality information. Become connected to what is said. That will help you resolve some of these barriers and walls and get rid of the excess pollution in our life, the noise, because we become more aware of what is going on between us and the other person. Slide 17. Now we need to develop an action plan for being a better talker and a better listener. Now, to be a better listener, we need to learn how to acknowledge the other person. We need to also learn how to play detective, how to ask key questions, when we're not quite understanding what's going on. And we also need to admit ignorance. If when we are engaging in conversation, we don't understand what the talker is speaking on, then we need to admit it. That's the only way for us to improve in our interpersonal relationships. We need to, slide 18, move to slide 18. Now we need to also become a better listener. And to become a better listener, we need to learn how to share our feelings. Share them, but don't spill your guts. Also share your thoughts. Share your point of view. And take ownership. Own your feelings. They're your feelings. Own your feelings. This concludes our presentation on interpersonal communication. I want you to know that you can talk and listen better. Now I want to leave with you James 1:19. I paraphrase it when it says, brethren, be slow to speak and quick to hear. God bless.